Anyway, tell the story your way. I'm your favorite pin-up doll, the golden treasure, here to put your ego on, so tell it your way. I'm your favorite pin-up doll, the golden treasure, here to put your ego on. Watch them all slip away. All those so-called friends took your side anyway. They have not a single clue. All the hell you put me through, painted me in a dim light, hurt me one last time. Tell the story your way. I'm your favorite pin-up doll, the golden treasure, here to put your ego on, so tell it your way. I'm your favorite pin-up doll, the golden treasure, here to put your ego on. Tell the story your way. I'm your favorite pin-up doll, the golden treasure, here to put your ego on, so tell it your way. I'm your favorite pin-up doll, the golden treasure, here to put your ego on.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of Music and Mimosas. I am your host, Alexandria Seneca, and today I have the band Sharone with me.
Hi.
How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing
Good.
well. Thank
That's
you.
awesome. So do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah. My name's Sharone. I write the music for the most part. I do the vocals and hi.
I'm Josh, and I do what she tells me to do. No, I'm playing guitar for the project at the moment.
Nice.
Awesome. I'm Spencer. I play guitar with the band.
Cool. Well, nice having you guys here.
Thank you.
So I heard you guys drove all the way from Cheyenne. How was the drive?
Better than most times. Like I was saying, I was telling Seth here, we usually accommodate for an extra close to an hour of being stuck in standstill traffic, and this time around it didn't happen, so it's a nice, easy drive.
Very nice. So let's start with some questions. How did you guys become a band?
I started playing shows in 2014. I was a solo artist at the time. Just wrote my first song when I was 8, and then 6 years later got on stage. And 2 years after I played my first show, I formed a full rock band around the project. And I mean, when I first started out, I was just kind of switching between keyboard and guitar, and it was just me and the instruments. And then I got another guitar player and bass player and drummer behind the project, and did that for a number of years, went through a bunch of different members, called it Sharone in the Wind when I first started the full rock band thing, but after trading out enough members, I just kind of gave up on it, went back to Sharone. And these guys just came along in the last
Year.
few months. I my one like real consistent member has been my bass player. He's been playing with me for about 5 years, and other than that, we've kind of traded out drummers and guitar players for a really long time. And I met this one through his old booking company who booked my shows in Cheyenne when I was touring, and the two of them have been friends for about 20 years. And when I needed a guitar player for shows and a drummer to write with and stuff like that, he introduced me to this guy, and we've been jamming since.
Cool, cool. So, what inspired you guys to do music?
Just being young, seeing like rock stars and the power of a guitar, and then I was probably about 10. I went to a local show and just kind of started playing guitar from there, and loved it, jammed, and
growing up in it, being in it, being inspired by it.
That's
So,
always a
lots
way
of
to
exposure at a young age.
I kind of grew up on pop music. My family didn't do rock music at all. It was all real soft, quiet stuff. And my mom was listening to a lot of Celine Dion and Bonnie Tyler and things like that. So that's what I grew up listening to. I discovered music like Pink was a huge one of mine, and Lady Gaga when I was really, really young. And I was super inspired by them, by their music, by their, I guess, visual more sides. I mean, Lady Gaga, we all know, is just an artist in every aspect of the word, and I grew up admiring people like her a lot. And when I was about 11, I discovered rock music for the first time. Evanescence was the first band that I came across, and I remember hearing them for the very first time and just thinking, I'm going to do that when I grow up. So
I totally agree with that. As I told you before the interview,
Yeah.
I love Evanescence.
Oh, they're amazing.
So she's amazing.
Yes.
So I also heard that you guys have a new music video called Left in the Dark. You want to tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, that one was actually really fun to do. Both of these guys were in it. We decided to do one more music video after the album had come out, because we'd done 4 singles before the album came out in May. And I had this real idea for a music video for a pinup doll, and that was supposed to be the last video that we did from the album. But if I'm one of those people, if I had the budget, I would do a music video for every single song. I love music videos. I think they're so cool and so fun. And I came across this building in Cheyenne, actually, that just spoke to every single idea I had for a music video for Left in the Dark. And the guy who managed it told me that I was welcome to shoot there. So we put it together, and it was supposed to be kind of a Saw-themed video. The whole meaning of the song was about being trapped and being afraid of escaping, not knowing what might happen if you do escape finally. And that's why the Saw thing kind of played in really well with the meaning of the song. And I saw this building, and everywhere that I looked, I was like, I can see exactly what's going to happen with this scene here. I can see exactly what we're going to do with this location for this scene here. This is what's going to be happening in the song when we're in this room, and I could just picture it so well. So I decided to just go for it and did a 6th video for the album.
Actually pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, Saw's a pretty good movie. Scary, but it's a
Oh
good
yeah, it's
movie.
great. It's pretty gory, but I love that stuff.
Oh yeah, gory stuff is the best. So speaking of, music video and tour life, how is the tour life like? What goes on it?
I mean, these days we're not really touring. Back in the day, it was, you'd spend 2-3 months emailing Googling local venues who book, smaller local shows, having like a outline email where you'd fill in the date you're going to be there, the city you're looking at, and the venue that you're emailing on that specific email. And you copy paste, fill in those little details, and send out like 150 emails and hope you'll get 4 back.
Wow.
Do that for like 3 months and hope you can find a van to rent that won't fall apart on you halfway through the tour, and just go for it. I mean, you're lucky if you broke even, and we did really well on the very first tour I ever went on. I mean, I think we made like $1,000. It was super lucky and crazy. But I mean, after that, it just kind of seemed to keep going downhill. On my very last tour, I want to say, the van fell apart like 6 days in, and it was like a 2.5-week tour. And after the 5th show, we went into a dealership, and they looked at it and said, "Oh, well, I'm glad you guys are alive, because you shouldn't be."
Oh my god.
It's pretty scary.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of work and a lot of
Yeah.
hassle.
No, but it's so much fun though. It's so worth it. There's so many shows that I can still picture in my head that just made all the work worth it. We were just in San Diego, and I remembered a show that my old band and I played there, like, I want to say 3 or so years ago, and it was like a Wednesday night, some random bar in San Diego, and there was easily 150 people in there. Super fun, and it's a lot of work, but a lot of the shows do make it worth it.
Yeah, I would assume so. It's probably worth it at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
And even if the shows kind of tank, you're still traveling, you're seeing new
Still
things.
doing what you love.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
It's really all that matters. As long as you're happy and you're doing what you love,
Absolutely.
screw what anyone else thinks.
I agree.
So, what would be the hardest part about being a musician? Any of you?
Oh, being able to afford it.
Yeah.
I think the hardest part I've found as being a musician is when you find yourself in those, I guess, tough spots or stuck spots, and keeping yourself motivated through, I guess, those kind of stall points, and finding new ways to inspire yourself, new ways to write, and keep the energy rolling with everyone. It's,
Absolutely.
it's not a one person, it's a group that, somebody's having a hard time. We as a group got to come together and say, hey, let's just do something different and get you out of this, and just having each other's back, pushing through it, and that's really what keeps the music moving for us.
Absolutely. I think especially with in the last couple of years with COVID and everything, it's been hard to stay motivated in doing music because venues were closed down for the longest time. I watched a ton of venues that I used to love to play shut down because they couldn't make it.
People
Watching
kind of
things
meet each other to practice.
Right.
and
I mean, just not being able to be out there and be constantly doing music and watching things change, watching routines change, watching members leave, things like that. It's
trying to keep up with all the changes.
It's important, I think, to keep an eye and keep your mind on the passion and the reasons why you got into music in the first place, and it's because you love it, and it's because it saves your soul. And I think it's important. It's hard to stay in that mindset a lot of the time when you do run into obstacles, but you got to keep your mind on that. We do music because we love it. As long as you remember that, then I think you're pretty much set.
Well, that's good to hear. Yeah, I feel like, hearing this from another band too, like if people want to join a band or being a musician, hearing these kind of interviews, honestly, when I was younger, I used to watch a lot of interviews with music artists and bands and stuff, and it just inspired me. And I feel like stuff like this, hearing all this back stuff is just a lot more helpful for people, for the audience to understand and be supportive, So.
Definitely.
So, tell me about your album, Morbid Illusion.
Yeah, Spencer actually didn't get a chance to partake in this album because I think we started kind of talking about playing together as I was finishing it up.
Mm-hmm.
But Josh actually recorded the guitars on, I think, 2 songs, on Fade Away and Screaming into Oblivion. But other than that, neither of them really had much in the album as far as the writing. This was the very first album that I really was kind of forced to sit down and make all of it by myself. My drummer had quit after we finished just the first song. So Can We Pretend, there was a full band effort behind it. But the other 9 songs on the album, I was out of a drummer. I already didn't have guitar players, and it was just me and my bass player, and I was already writing his parts for the most part anyway. So I had to basically sit down and tell myself, well, now I have a release date set with a label, a name, and I have all these songs that I never really got to fill out. I basically just had the lead melody part, whether it was guitar or piano, and the vocals, and kind of had to sit down and scream and cry at my computer for like 6 months by myself, programming drums, writing the bass parts, the guitar parts, the synths, the pianos, the strings, vocals, everything, and like writing in notes for effects and all that other stuff, literally by myself for 9 songs for like 6 months straight. I mean, he watched all of it, and it was just, okay, I can't talk to anybody, I have to get it done, and I was just like screaming and crying on my computer. I almost chucked the thing at the wall a couple times trying to program drums. But writing it was kind of a process, but it was also at such a pivotal point in my life where I kind of needed that to just be able to vent at my instruments for a while. And it was just a real kind of therapeutic point in my life, and about just writing music is basically therapy. At least for me it is. It's how I cope with life. And I think that Morbid Illusion came out the way that it did, and as emotionally and kind of angry and heavy and aggressive as it did, because it was everything I was feeling at the time, just all meshed into 6 months of writing.
Well, that's pretty awesome that you were able to do that all by yourself for the most part.
I'm level with you. I don't know how I did it.
Yeah, that's
I'm
pretty
help,
talented.
but-
Yes.
I'll say that for sure. But also, you guys have an upcoming show on December 3rd, I heard?
Yeah, it's our last show of the year. We're headlining Herman's Hideaway, doing a little holiday show. We're playing with As We Rise, who, I don't know about you guys, I've never played with them, but I just recently started hearing about them, and I love their sound, and I'm really excited to play with them for the first time. A Vintage Future, we just played with them at the Oriental
Yep.
at the end of October, and my DI Records label mates, who just signed on to the label, Signs of Tranquility. Signs of Tranquility, yeah. So it's going to be a really fun show. I'm
That's
excited.
awesome. I'm guessing you're going to be doing some Morbid Illusion songs on there.
Absolutely. I don't think we're going to play any new stuff until after the new year. So
That's pretty awesome.
yeah, we'll have a little bit of Reflection, I think, in the set, the album before Morbid Illusion, and mostly just the more recent songs, and we'll probably start doing new songs after the new year.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, do you guys have any last final thoughts or any questions or concerns?
You concerned about your drive back?
Mimosa time.
I think it's mimosa time.
Alrighty. Well, you guys want to take a quick drink? We're going to sign off here. And everyone, don't forget to look her up. Look up the band, listen to some music. We're going to also put a link in our YouTube channel, I believe. So check that out.
So,
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Yeah, great.
Thanks
Thank you
for
guys for
having us.
coming.
Of course.
yeah.
All right.
Hopefully we'll see a lot of people on the 3rd.
Yes. Good.
Nerd.
Fighting.
1, 2, 3, 4. These words you've cut me with have burned into my skin, made me the enemy through the hell you've given me. The holes, they burn so deep, the walls start crumbling. Can't help but think it's me, no other choice to see. Started out with me begging you to love me. It's not fair to make me beg again. Can we pretend that we never have to start over? That you waited long after you were over her, long after you were over her. Can we pretend that petals don't fall off of roses? That we haven't been going in circles, going in circles. Can we pretend? Can we pretend? Can we pretend? The promises you'd make are tattooed to my mind. The actions you'd never take, you're falling behind. You asked me to give you incentive, I did that from the start. Maybe I need it now for this not to fall apart. I'd never live it down if I left, so I'd hate to go. But can we pretend that we never have to start over? That you waited long after you were over her, long after you were over her. Can we pretend that it's warm at the bottom of the ocean? That we haven't been losing our motion, losing our motion. Can we pretend? Can we pretend? Can we pretend that we haven't gone from bad to worse? That there is a cure for this? Can we pretend that we never have to start over? That you waited long after you were over her, long after you were over her. Can we pretend that the moon doesn't fall before the dawn? That we haven't been lying to everyone, lying to everyone. Can we pretend? Let's play pretend. Can we pretend?